Is there a heightened risk for toxicity in those with ADHD and autism? That's what a recent study basically dove into. And I'm going to tell you that this doesn't just end with ADHD and autism. That's all that they dove into in this study. But we're going to dive into why this applies to anybody with autoimmunity or insomnia. Cardiovascular disease is a big one, mental health disorders, and different things like that. So there's a large part of the population that's going to be affected by this. But first, let's dive into the research, and then we can kind of dive into why other people need to be aware of this as well. So what this study found, it was done a few months ago. It was published in PLOS One, and what they dove into was what is the likelihood of increased toxicity in those with autism and ADHD. And what they found in that was by looking at a process called glucuronidation that happens in the urine, they measured how much plastic was excreted in the urine of those kids versus those with without the diagnosis, right? So the quote unquote normal population. And what they found is those with autism and ADHD were significantly less likely to get rid of those plastics that they had in their body. And they measured two different ones. The big one was BPA. And BPA is one that's been associated with things like hormone disruption. It's been associated with some cancers. It's been associated with infertility and reproductive disorders, things like that. So it is a big one. It's the one that you see that's BPA free, right? Everything is listed as BPA free. This is why. That is one that they know causes those things. But I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of research that is coming out that is showing that a lot of other plastics do a lot of the same things. A lot of those plasticizers that we're using are having those same effects of disrupting hormones and endocrine function within our bodies. So it's very, very important to be able to eliminate these. Other studies have shown that essentially the whole population is affected by this. It doesn't matter who you pull off the street, they're finding plastic inside them, even finding it inside placenta and in utero. So it's something that's kind of scary. It's something that we really need to pay attention to, because if we don't, with the number of chemicals that we're using today, it's going to go south for us in a hurry, right? Our health is already not in a good position. It could get worse in a real fast manner here. So why does this apply to everybody else? And if you understand detoxification, then you understand the application of this. A lot of people are familiar with the MTHFR epigenetic marker. The epigenetic marker basically there's different alterations of this epigenetic marker, right? So some people can have, one label, some people can have another label, some people can have both. And when we have that alteration, it decreases our ability to use methylfolate. Now, the importance of this is it decreases the methyl groups inside of our bodies. 85% of the population has alterations in this. The reason it happens with like heart disease and things like that get more intense, it has increased homocysteine. You can't methylate to decrease that homocysteine and change it into something that's not as toxic to you. So that increases your inflammation, that increases heart disease, it increases inflammatory disorders and all this different stuff. So not important to understand all the intricacies of all of that. Methyl groups are just a carbon and 3 hydrogens. Again, not important to know all of this stuff. But what is important to know is that methylation is very, very important to our detoxification systems. So when we go to detoxify something, what we initially do is the body makes it into a more toxic form, but that more toxic form is not water soluble. So the second phase of detoxification, we put a methyl group onto that toxic substance that makes it water soluble. When we make it water soluble, where does it go? It comes out through the urine, right? It's water soluble, it goes into the urine, and then we can urinate that toxin out. This is how they're measuring all of the stuff in this research article here. They're measuring the urinary ability to detoxify, right? So if we are short on methyl groups, it's not a leap to figure out that anybody with those MTHFR epigenetic alterations are going to struggle with this. And again, that fits a lot of different populations, not only the cardiovascular disease, but it also fits autoimmunity and ADHD and autism and mental health disorders and insomnia, and gut disorders are a big one with this. So it goes on and on. There's a lot of populations that really need to worry about this. Now, they haven't done the research on this, but it's something they're going to find, right? Because if you look into the reasons, or if you think logically about the reasons that this stuff is occurring, this is a big factor on this. So if you cannot detoxify all that stuff, what happens with it? It stays inside your body. If it stays inside of your body, what happens to your body? You think about an ecosystem, right? If you've got an ecosystem that has a bunch of garbage and trash and everything like that, why do people go around and clean that stuff up? Because it affects all of the biological organisms that are in there, right? The fish struggle, the frogs don't reproduce, they've got trouble with the plants, all of that stuff, all of it goes awry. Same thing happens in your body. When we don't have the right things in there, we get more toxicity. We have the immune system attacking things that it shouldn't be attacking. We have, the endocrine system is thrown off, our stress system is shot up, our inflammatory system is shot up, and all of these things decrease our ability to heal and repair and do the things that we need to do. They're stealing energy from us on a consistent basis, leaving us with the chronic health challenges that a lot of us are facing. So this is something that, I went away. I used to test for the MTHFR epigenetic marker, and this research kind of makes me wonder if I need to be testing on it on more people, just so people are aware of it. What are the odds you have it? It's very, very high that you have some form of alteration. Now, again, the ability to methylate is going to come down to which alteration you have. Do you have one marker? Do you have the other? Or do you have both? If you have both, it's significantly lower. I believe it's like 40% lower, just off the top of my head. Don't quote me on that one, but it's a significant decrease in your ability to methylate. If you can't methylate as well, that's your ability to detoxify, right? So this is a serious thing that is going to be linked to a lot more things as the research starts to come out. Again, they did not do this for the other things, but as they start to do this, I mean, it's almost a guarantee that that's what they're going to find. So what you're cooking with is huge. What you're exposed to on a daily basis, what you're wrapping your foods in, all of this stuff plays a very, very important role in our health, and it's just being aware of it. What are the things that you can use? Glass is a much better form, right? If you can hold things in those glass Tupperware things, it's much better form. Heating things up in something that is glass, much, much safer than heating things up in plastic. You see all these plastic bags that you can throw in the microwave now. Terrible for you. Very, very dangerous. It's something I recommend all my patients avoid. I recommend you do the same. So again, they found this ability they found the inability for people with ADHD and autism to detoxify, but it is not limited to that. So if you do have any questions, obviously I'm happy to help you how I can. Let me know on that. You can drop a comment, a like, you can DM me however you see fit, and we could go from there. But I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. I know that those are very valuable resources, and I look forward to talking to you on the next video.